I think, my absolute favorite story of this particular event. And this is one that we were, I would say, most wanting to see. We really want to see a kind of action-reaction type of flow. We want to be able to see, will the machines do things kind of back and forth, or are they all going to play blindly?
Are they actually responding to each other, or are they just going through some sort of automated protocol?
Right, because they can react at speeds that no human can, and that's what makes this the most interesting aspect of the event, is the speed at which the machines can react.
So we just saw this excellent score from Galactica. This is the On Sale Challenge, and it looks like they just scored against every other team,
Everybody
except for
Mechafish,
who's down right now patching.
And this is the one time Mechafish's preemptive patching worked in their favor, right?
Yeah,
so
sometimes they get the timing right.
They got it right here, and they just happened to get lucky. They submitted their patch the same round that Galactica submitted their POV, and so the binary is down, which prevents them from getting proven against. But everybody else, Galactica scores on. So
I want to take a look at this POV from Galactica. What we're looking at here is just a Wireshark capture. So we capture the packets going back and forth between Galactica and the service, the On Sale Challenge, and we see Galactica's traffic in red, and then the service responding in blue.
And then this is the service that everyone's running. It's the reference unpatched binary that all the teams are running at the start, except for Shellfish, who had it down.
Yeah. Now the vulnerability in this challenge allowed a function pointer to be overwritten. And what we look at in the traffic right here, we see BAAAAE1. That is a stack address. It actually happens to point back up, at runtime, it's pointing back up to the beginning of this payload here, which is where they have their shellcode.
So this buffer is loaded onto the stack, the function pointer does the overwrite, and then when it calls that function, it's going to just start executing shellcode directly on the stack.
Yeah, and I have another graphic here we can look at. So this is that shellcode from Galactica that's just disassembled. The one thing that you probably noticed in the Wireshark dump is that it was all printable ASCII. That's one of the reasons why we see a lot of this processing going on here with these long immediate values, because they have removed all null bytes and they have actually removed any non-printable characters from this really neat payload.
Yeah, it's a common technique. You see a lot of ASCII-safe shellcode encoders. What I like about this one in particular, though, is right there at that start, that push EDX. That's really cool because it means they're using the context of the program at the moment of the crash or at the moment of that function pointer overwrite as a part of their payload. It makes it much more difficult to analyze in isolation. You actually can't decode what these values are without knowing what that existing register was at the moment of the crash. So that means it raises the bar significantly for the opponents if they want to try to figure out what it's doing.
And it definitely wasn't pre-canned because it depends on program state
very
where they
specifically
inserted
on
it.
that POV, absolutely.
And we see at the end, these in80s, these are syscalls. First, it's calling transmit with the address of the flag page. And one thing that you don't see in any of the shellcode is the address of the flag page.
Because the flag page itself is not ASCII printable, so it has to be computed if they want to use ASCII safe shellcode.
Absolutely, and that lets them get around that IDS rule that we've seen from Rubius and Xandra in the past.
We've seen teams,
they
just hard-coded block that address in any kind of network traffic, which could have had false positives, but also would have stopped sort of naive payloads that just immediately try to transmit that. So that's a very nice shellcode payload.